Tonight, that new video could break open the case of a missing 11-year-old in El Paso County.
His stepmother first reported him missing last Monday after she says he went running to a friend's house.
Well, tonight, the neighbor surveillance video is raising questions. He says it shows Ganon's stepmother, Leticia Hunt, getting into a truck with Ganon and later returning without him.
In 2015, the story begins with 31-year-old Leticia Hunt marrying Al Stout, whom she considered the love of her life. Leticia, a mother of 3, was the biological mother of Harley, her daughter from her late ex-husband, and the stepmother to Al's children, Lena and Ganon. Al shared custody of Lena and Ganon with his ex-wife, Landon Bullard. Leticia's academic background is extensive, with a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of North Carolina Pembroke, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Capella University, and a doctorate in education from Liberty University. She worked in education in South Carolina, primarily as an assistant teacher, and held various full-time teaching positions. Her LinkedIn profile highlights roles such as an educator, SL tier, and an at-risk youth coordinator. However, in 2016, Leticia faced a setback as her South Carolina teaching license was suspended after abandoning her teaching duties within the district just 7 days into employment. She claimed harassment and retaliation following her request to be released from her contract due to a pending military move. The claim had some credibility, considering Al's frequent relocations due to his full-time role in the Army National Guard. Leticia's allegations included the district superintendent's niece being Al's ex-wife, leading to harassment and retaliation. Threatening to file an EEOC claim, her claims were later found unsubstantiated after investigation. Despite the suspension, Leticia continued pursuing her teaching career, working in multiple schools in South Carolina and other states. In January 2019, Leticia, Al, and the children moved to Colorado for Al's work. After settling in, Leticia obtained her Colorado teaching license, becoming a substitute teacher for the Widefield School District before securing a teaching position at French Elementary. Her subsequent opportunity came at Mountain Ridge Middle School in the Academy School District 20 in Colorado Springs. On January 24, 2020, during a job orientation at Mountain Ridge, Leticia faced a setback when her additional employment offer was rescinded due to inconsistent information in her background check. Fortunately, she retained her position at French Elementary. This event is widely believed to have played a role in the disturbing acts that unfolded later. On January 26th, while Al was away in Oklahoma for military training and Harley was at work, Leticia, Ganon, and Lena went hiking at Garden of the Gods, a 341-acre public park in Colorado Springs. This was a routine activity for them, often shared on Leticia's Facebook page. After returning home, Ganon allegedly knocked over a candle, burning the carpet. Leticia messaged Al about the incident, assuring him Ganon was scared, but okay. She also posted a video on Facebook, where Ganon can be heard crying while Leticia discusses covering the repair costs by selling items.
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie, when the TMZ information...
Ganon, I promise this is the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? Okay, all right, so, listen. We're going to have to sell stuff to fix it, okay? We can sell the sofa, we can sell whatever, because we got to get it fixed, so lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it?
On the morning of January 27th, Leticia informed Al via text that Ganon would not be going to school. Simultaneously, she called her workplace, explaining that her stepfather had been hit and killed by a car. While partly true, the incident with her stepfather had occurred several years prior. Later that day, on January 27, 2020, about 12 hours after notifying her workplace and Al, just before 4:07 p.m., Leticia placed another significant phone call, this time to 911.
Location of the emergency. Well, just 67 London Drive, Colorado Springs. Please say that one more time, make sure I have this here correctly. 67 London Drive. Okay, the phone number you're calling from? 843-655. Your name? Ida. Please tell me, sir. What happened? I didn't know if I'm supposed to call emergency, not emergency service, but my phone says you all at 6 o'clock and it's almost 7. And we went to like one friend's house and what he's going to do at his friend's house and they said he wasn't there and the other one said he never came there. Well, I don't know any other people calling out and I talked to my husband, so I told him I don't know anyone else. And I don't know if there's like a time limit, but like he's only 11. He's 11. 11, yeah. Okay. What's the thing? Ganon. What for me? You can open. Nora. South. Spauch.
Following the call to 911, Leticia found herself directed to a non-emergency number. She reiterated that Ganon had gone out to spend time with friends and was already about an hour late coming home. Despite searching Ganon's friend's house, she couldn't locate him. Interestingly, during the non-emergency call, Leticia couldn't provide the names of Ganon's friends, their parents, or their addresses. At 7:32 p.m., Ganon Stoke was officially entered as an active runaway in state and national databases. Approximately 3 hours later, around 10 p.m., deputies from the El Paso Sheriff's Office searched Leticia's house with her consent, finding nothing out of the ordinary. The next day, January 28th, Leticia drove her Volkswagen Tiguan to an airport short-term parking lot, where she rented a 2019 Kia Rio. She picked up Al from the airport, who had returned home from training, ready to join the search for his son. Leticia explained the rental car as a measure to avoid mileage on her lease, raising Al's first red flag given the emergency situation. Leticia told Al that she had parked her car at the elementary school where she worked. However, when Al went to verify this, her car was nowhere in sight. Unbeknownst to Al, Leticia had actually left her car at the airport's short-term parking lot but chose to withhold this information. Ganon's mother, Landon, traveled from South Carolina to Colorado to support the search efforts. On January 28th, while searching for Ganon, Leticia returned the rental car to the airport parking lot at around 7 p.m. and left with her Tiguan at 10:30 p.m. Later that night, at 10:45 p.m., Leticia texted investigators, expressing confusion and claiming she had nothing to hide. Detective Bethel responded, urging her to come talk and provide information to find Ganon. On January 29th, Leticia voluntarily met with investigators, arriving 2 hours late in her Tiguan, which appeared notably clean. In this interview, she began making various claims, further adding to the complexity of the situation.
And then just because you're in here and you're in our building and stuff, do you mind if I just pat you down really quick? That's how we hug. I just need you to face that way for me.
I wasn't sure if you needed me to.
Yeah, go ahead and just put your arms out for me and just separate your legs slightly for me. Okay. There you go. Hey. How you doing?
Good.
Did you get some sleep?
I haven't eaten today.
Oh my goodness. Do you want something to eat? I've got some stuff.
I would love that.
What would you like? I've got some pizza Hot Pockets and some tamales and a breakfast burrito.
No, pizza Hot Pockets would be good. But I mean, you don't have to wait.
No, we can get you something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So what I want you to do is take me through Sunday into Monday.
Okay.
And be as detailed as possible as to what you were doing, who was there, where you were at, how long you spent, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Because the more detail I have, it might spark something for me.
Is it okay if I take my notes out? Because like I wrote down all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
and I was
absolutely.
Because I was like, I tried to write down anything he might like say, and just in case, because I had like notes from different things or whatever.
Leticia proceeded to outline her timeline to the detectives, starting on the 26th and extending into the 27th. She detailed the family's hike at the Garden of the Gods, the candle incident that damaged the carpet, and her decision to let Ganon skip school due to an upset stomach. In the midst of these events, fearing Al's potential anger, she admitted to panicking while trying to address the carpet issue promptly. In an effort to expedite the repair process, Leticia took an unconventional approach. Instead of contacting professional carpet services, she headed straight to newly developed model homes nearby. There, she approached a group of Hispanic men and inquired if anyone would be willing to take on an odd job to fix the carpet. Allegedly, a man named Aguardo expressed interest, and Leticia provided him with the code to her garage before continuing with her day.
Okay.
And
so
then-
you leave around 10 something, and then you get back around 2 something.
I feel like it was like 2:35, 2:25, 2 something. He goes in through the garage. I go in. I'm getting ready to put up the things, stuff like that. And this is where it got. I made a mistake. This is it.
Okay.
And the guy was in there. And I gave him the code.
The guy from the...
Yeah, it's all my fault. Because I gave him our code to fix the carpet.
Okay.
And I shouldn't have.
Okay.
And he... He was inside. And I heard something, and so I walked to the storage closet to open the storage closet. And when I do, it's him. And he was standing in there, and he had on gloves.
In the storage closet?
Yes.
Okay.
He had one of the guns.
Okay.
And I was terrified.
Okay.
So terrified. And then he just knocked me down and like towards Ganon's room. And he was like hitting on me. It was like hard, like on the ground. And he was trying to like rape me. And I told her. And I said, I have to tell you about this.
Okay.
And like, and I'm sitting there like freaking out, like, okay, what do you want me to do? Blah, blah, blah. So, and then he was like, he asked me to give him a suitcase, and I gave him a brown suitcase, and then he hit me on the head again, and it's like right here. He just kept like hitting me right there like that.
Okay.
And so then he did that, and then I blacked out again. I was having a panic attack, and then I don't know what happened from there. I really don't. I don't know. I just know that I did lie. I did. When they came, I did say, get and left, whatever. You know that.
Okay.
But he never did. He never left to go play. I just didn't know what to do, and I panicked in the moment. And I didn't want Albert to be like trying to hurt us, because we kind of get in a lot of fights.
Oh,
Just, yeah. And I'm sorry that it might have delayed, you know, like looking for Ganon. But I do not know where Ganon was. I do not know. I do not know his whereabouts from that point on. But it was still in the same time frame that I gave you guys. So that wasn't, there was no contradictory to that same time frame, because it still was about 4 o'clock.
Do you need to use the restroom or anything like
No,
that?
I'm actually, I mean, am I like free to leave, or?
We're not holding you here. We'd like to get you over to the hospital for that.
No,
forensic exam.
I would totally do that, but I really am, I just want to get some food and take a minute, and I can drive myself to the hospital. I don't want to feel like I'm some, you know, person they're going to look at differently because I am showing up with, you know, police and people, and I just...
Let me go check on a couple of things really quick, and then I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, you said I was free to go?
Are you wanting to leave right now?
I'm really hungry. I'm thirsty. Look at my lips. They're chapped.
Okay. Can you give me just a few minutes to just check to make sure that I've covered everything that I need to cover, and then I'll come back in?
She said that I would be able to go.
And I'm not saying that you can't. I'm asking if you can give me a few minutes. That's all.
I can. Can you just call me, or? I mean.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
Okay. So can you show me how to leave, please?
I have to go over here. Let me get somebody to escort you out.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi. She said that I could go.
Well, can you talk to me about what's
Can
going
I?
on?
But you told me I could.
I know, but I left.
I understand
So we started
that.
and I left, and I just want to get the fill in. So I have a couple questions about Sunday, if you're okay filling that in. I know you're tired.
I'm tired, and
But-
you said that I could go. I just want to take a break. That's all I'm asking for.
Where do you want to?
That means I want to
Do you
just
wanna
go rest. Like she said, I could drive myself to the hospital, so I just don't want.
What do we need to go to the hospital for?
Am I
Are you
able
okay?
to just go? I mean, you can know why I'm going to the hospital, because she wants to get DNA.
DNA.
Like, or to have your body checked for, you know,
Were you sexually assaulted? When did that happen?
It happened on Monday.
On Monday? Okay.
I can't.
So let me make sure that we've got everything lined up for a SANE exam. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah,
right?
she's gonna do that, and I'm gonna just take a break. I want to get food. Look at my lips; they're chapped. I haven't.
You want some food?
I know.
What do you want to eat?
Okay, she just said I could be escorted out.
Okay.
I promise you have my number. I haven't not.
You're done with all this?
Right. I haven't not communicated with you. I have been.
Are you done with that coke?
Nothing but. Can I not take it?
You can if you want.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you were done with it. We recycle them too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Hang tight for me just real quick. Let me make sure that she doesn't have any other questions because
But
she finished up.
She just said.
Okay. I get that. I get that. Let's just let me double check with her.
She said I could go.
But she finished up the interview.
Are
I
you
don't know.
holding me here?
I'm not holding you.
Okay, so can someone walk me out?
You want to leave?
I will clearly answer your questions. I just want to take a break.
After sharing her whimsical story about Aguardo and expressing remorse for providing him with her entry code, Leticia reached a point where she decided it was time to leave. However, before her departure, officers had a couple of tasks to complete. The first on their agenda was obtaining Leticia's cell phone.
I understand. I just want to get directions.
I get it. And so once again, we're back in the interview room.
Okay.
We're on camera. Mitch Maholko, Lieutenant with the Investigation Section.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point in time, what we had just discussed outside, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that you decided that you wish to leave, and that there's no problem with that. I asked if
you didn't ask. You took.
Okay. So
you took.
Understood.
Okay.
So at that point in time, you relinquished the phone to me. I
didn't relinquish the phone. You took it.
Listen up. I took the phone.
Okay.
And I told you that we would be applying for a search warrant. Is
okay.
that
You
correct?
said applying.
That's correct.
Sir, I'm not going anywhere. I literally just need directions. I mean, I have family numbers in there I don't have.
Understood.
The second task involved obtaining Leticia's DNA. To accomplish this, officers retrieved the Coke can they had previously provided her and proceeded with the collection process.
Okay. So you need a colder bottle of water
Well, you just
or a
took my
Gatorade.
Coke. Are you taking my drink too? What in the world?
The third task involved indirectly keeping Leticia in custody while their warrant was reviewed. Officers, one by one, circled around Leticia to accomplish the first two tasks. However, in response to the third task, Leticia hastily started stuffing tissues in her pants, claiming chest pains and shortness of breath. She was immediately rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, providing no responses to paramedics' questions. During her hospital stay, the DNA warrant was finalized, but Leticia seemed to recover miraculously. Upon release, without notifying law enforcement, she slipped out of the building, technically not yet under arrest. Picked up by an unknown individual, she later met with Harley several miles away, leaving her Volkswagen Tiguan to be seized and searched by law enforcement. With both her vehicle and phone in investigators' possession, they decided to focus on the vehicle first. Analyzing the data stored in the Tiguan onboard GPS, they traced its movements during the January 28th gap. The vehicle lingered for about 12 minutes in a rural area near Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road in neighboring Douglas County. Turning attention to her cell phone, investigators uncovered Leticia's search history, revealing her true feelings about her role as a stepmother. Searches made just before Ganon was reported missing included expressions of frustration and resentment towards her stepchildren and ex-wife. Additionally, questionable text messages between Leticia and her daughter Harley were found, requesting carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda on January 27th. In Leticia's Notes app, detectives discovered a list of questions related to Ganon's disappearance, raising suspicions. A connection between these notes and a search made on January 29th, where Leticia looked up fake lie detector result websites, was noted. These websites allowed customers to arrange private lie detector tests with custom or fake results. The day after the interrogation, Ganon's status was changed from a runaway to an endangered missing child. This prompted the El Paso Sheriff's Office to seek assistance from the FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Lieutenant John Sarkeesian described the ensuing search efforts as the most significant in over 20 years. Despite the escalating search, Leticia participated in an interview with local news channel KKTV with her back facing the camera.
You are?
I am Tisha Stout, which is Ganon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation I was told I wasn't complying.
I should try and clarify here, not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes, wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Ganon is dead, and that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Ganon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Ganon, and that's the main goal that we all have, my family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal, and we've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other. I'm just ready for Ganon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Ganon, and I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Any message for Ganon?
The message for Ganon I have is, Ganon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Ganon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Ganon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Following the interview, Leticia rented a 2020 Nissan Altima. Unbeknownst to her, investigators had already placed a GPS tracking device on the vehicle. The tracker revealed that Leticia and Harley first went home to gather their belongings, and then headed to a downtown hotel for the night. Around 3:30 p.m. the next day, Leticia left the hotel in the Altima. About an hour later, at 4:41 p.m., she drove to the same area where her Volkswagen Tiguan's GPS data had shown a 12-minute stop during the January 28th gap. Leticia stayed briefly before returning to the hotel around 6:12 p.m. Subsequently, the two embarked on a cross-country road trip to Florida, checking into a hotel near Pensacola, stopping by Pace, then continuing to Orlando, and finally driving back to their old home state, South Carolina, where they stayed for the following month. While Leticia and Harley enjoyed their mother-daughter vacation, authorities diligently worked on every lead. Interviews, video surveillance collection, conversations with neighbors, and contact with local trash management companies were all part of their efforts to track down evidence or clues. Numerous tips were provided to law enforcement, and while not all were legitimate, some led to significant breakthroughs in the search for Ganon. One crucial lead came from a neighbor next to the Stoke family home, who had a security camera positioned to capture a moment on January 27th. At 10:13 a.m., Leticia can be seen entering a red pickup truck parked in her driveway. Ganon then enters the back of the truck before it drives off. At 2:19 p.m., the truck returns to the house, but only Leticia exits, and Ganon is nowhere in sight.
Missing for more than a week.
It seemed like he just vanished in midair. It's like he just couldn't vanish.
Tonight, a neighbor's surveillance video is bringing new clues to the disappearance of 11-year-old Ganon Stout.
That was the video they needed. That's the break they needed.
And the man who turned it over says it raises some serious questions about who was involved.
She was lying.
Denver 7 News at 5 starts now. Tonight, that new video could break open the case of a missing 11-year-old in El Paso County.
His stepmother first reported him missing last Monday after she says he went running to a friend's house.
Well, tonight, the neighbor's surveillance video is raising questions. He says it shows Ganon's stepmother, Leticia Hunt, getting into a truck with Ganon and later returning without him. And the video could change the timeline of events.
Denver 7's Jason Grenauer live down in the Springs tonight. And Jason, investigators are now looking at that video.
Yes, that video was given to investigators here at the El Paso County Sheriff's Office yesterday, the same day that crime scene investigators were back out at the house looking for new evidence. And if that video shows what the neighbor who took it says it does, it could change everything.
That morning when I saw her back the truck up and him get in.
The neighbor of missing 11-year-old Ganon Stout says this security video shows the boy getting into a red pickup with his stepmother on the day of his disappearance.
My Xfinity camera, it picked it up. It picked up the young lady taking him, well, it picked up him getting into the vehicle and her taking him off about 10:16 that morning.
4 hours later,
and then she returned about 2:16 without him.
Ganon was reported missing by his stepmother later that day. A spokesperson for the El Paso County Sheriff's Department tells ABC News they do not dispute the neighbor's description of that video, but wouldn't comment further today.
The footage was submitted to the sheriff's office on February 4th, 2020, the same day investigators were conducting searches at the Stout household for new evidence. During these searches, investigators discovered carpet brushes in the dishwasher, suspected to have carpet fibers on them, an empty gallon of vinegar, and a 9mm gun with Leticia's DNA on it. However, a more disturbing revelation was somehow missed during the initial walkthrough on January 27th. In Ganon's bedroom, investigators found evidence of blood spatter on the walls and blood stains on his mattress. The blood had seeped through the carpet pad, and stained the concrete below. Traces of Ganon's blood were also discovered on the garage floor and on the bumper of Leticia's car, despite her attempts to wash it off before her first interview. The body cam footage, to be shown next, captures a walkthrough of the house after treatment with Blue Star Forensic, a blood enhancement reagent that simplifies the detection of blood traces. This reveals blood stains that may have been washed out, wiped off, or are invisible to the naked eye. Commentary from the officer wearing the body cam will provide clarity on what is being shown.
The room is normally set up so that the blue and red table is generally sitting underneath the window. This bed would be set up, ready to go. The second bed in the room would occupy this voided location, the southwest corner of the room. Of note in Ganon's room is the large stain in the southeast corner of the room. The markings that you see on the wall are marking spatter marks that were denoted by the Metro Crime Lab. Each of these stickers is indicating a blood spatter pattern that was denoted and documented.
Later analysis by experts revealed that the blood patterns found in Ganon's room indicated that multiple violent acts were likely committed there. Individuals who knew Ganon's father, Al, have asserted that the security video, coupled with the blood evidence in Ganon's bedroom, dispelled any remaining doubts about Leticia's involvement. After watching the footage, Al reportedly broke down in tears, realizing that Leticia had lied about Ganon going to a friend's house. On February 5th, 2020, Al and Landon released a heart-wrenching video statement pleading for any information regarding Ganon's disappearance. The emotional plea reflected the deep concern and anguish the family was experiencing as they sought answers about Ganon's whereabouts.
How do I describe my G-Man, my Ganon? Ganon's my hero. I love him so much. He's not only my hero, he has multiple people that call him his hero as well. He has so many family members that just look up to him at such a small age. He's full of life. He's happy. He's energetic. He loves sports. He loves Sonic. He loves going outside, playing with his friends, his sister, his neighbor, especially Braden. This neighborhood basically gives you a true example of who my son is. Everybody coming together, all the smiles that people have. This is why I have hope, because I feel it. This is Ganon truly speaking to our community. Ganon he loves Blue, he loves Sonic, he's into coding, he loves riding his bicycle with his sister, and I know that he's missing that right now. This week has been awful. It's been more than a roller coaster ride. It's been more than emotional mess. I don't even have answers for my feelings other than I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I will never hear his voice, that I'll never hear him run and say, "Mommy," that I'll never hear those corny jokes that he always tells every single day. He has to tell me a joke. He looks forward to telling me something silly. And I'm afraid that I may never see that again or hear it. I don't want to believe that, because that means that I'm giving up hope, and I'm not giving up hope because my son is full of hope. So I'm urging anyone that has any leads, credible leads, if you're too afraid because you know something, a kid just doesn't disappear and no one sees him. It's not how this works. So if you have anything that's credible, if you're afraid, don't worry about it. Imagine my son, how afraid he is. Imagine how afraid Ganon is. So please call, please write. If you need to have someone else to do it for you, please do. Because my son deserves to be here. He deserves to be here.
The community responded with another surge of support following the heartfelt plea, and the investigation continued. Throughout the weeks of authorities searching for Ganon, they also observed Leticia changing her story multiple times during phone calls with Al. One notable change was Leticia claiming that the mysterious attacker was still in the house, holding Ganon hostage when the police arrived to take a runaway report. This alteration added complexity to the evolving narrative and raised further questions about the events surrounding Ganon's disappearance.
The police came. He was in the house.
Where was he at in the house?
I didn't know at the time. I thought they were going to find him because the guy was like, "Can we please search the house?" And I said, "Sure."
Okay.
Terrified, which is why I sent Lena and Harley to Dollar Store and all these places.
Okay. All right. Well, that's huge. That's huge, because now we can look at different camera time frames and all that, and we can look at different angles.
In another twist to the narrative, Leticia introduced a more elaborate version of events in a subsequent change. According to her new account, the mystery man was not only following her around that evening, but had somehow infiltrated her truck. Moreover, she claimed to have acquired the name of this mysterious individual, adding layers of complexity and intrigue to the evolving story.
I'll give you his name. I swear to you.
Give me his
When
name.
I tell you this part, this is why I want immunity.
Okay.
This dude, he followed me. The guy followed us to Petco, and as I was pulling off to go to the Palmer Lake area, somebody was laying down in the road when I turned around and came back the other way, and this dude gets in the truck with us. I didn't have anything, knives, anything to f anybody off or anything. I had to go like a normal time. Anna was crying in the back seat till he threw up. He threw up because he was so scared. He came with us all the way back to the house. When we get there, he's still in your car at this time. We all get out. The guy was with us the whole time.
Okay.
The whole entire time. I asked him, what did he want? He could take everything he wants. He could rob us. He could do whatever he fucking wanted. Have it all. There was a struggle. There was everything back and forth. Terrified to say anything because he had the gun. It was just terrifying. All I could hear was Ganon screaming. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know how bad he hurt Ganon. I don't know. There's no accident where I heard, and there's nothing like that. Community, because people keep saying that. He hurt. I was tied with my arm.
Okay, well, who is he? Who tied you up? Who did this? You didn't do it. Who did it? Who hurt Ganon? Who has Ganon? Who wants the money? Who hurt you?
It's Quincy Brown.
Quincy Brown. So Quincy Brown is the one who has him.
To clarify, The disappointment heard in Al's voice when Leticia named Quincy Brown wasn't due to the prospect of finally having a name that could lead him to his son. Instead, it was because Quincy Brown was a sex offender and one of the most wanted fugitives in the area. His photo had recently been publicized in local news, making it more likely that Leticia used this name after seeing it on TV. By this point, many of Leticia's claims had already been proven false, and following the leads she provided repeatedly led to dead ends. Undeterred, investigators continued their search near Highway 105 and Perry Park Road, where Leticia's TAN GPS data indicated her presence during the January 28th gap. Eventually, a piece of particle board was discovered with a bloodstain on it, and the blood profile later matched Ganon Stout's DNA. On March 2, 2020, while Leticia was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and after dropping off Harley at a recruitment office, she was stopped by law enforcement and arrested for probable cause in the murder of Ganon Jacob Stoke. Leticia was then escorted back to the police station, where she participated in another interview.
There's nothing that happened at any house that would have hurt, harmed, murdered, done anything to anyone.
Because everything that I've looked at in this case, when you see the blood spatter on the wall, you see a big pool in the corner.
Okay.
You see your shoes that we've collected with Ganon's blood on the bottom of them.
Okay.
And then you point to Eduardo, who doesn't exist, or maybe he did exist, and we don't have a last name. Then you point to Quincy Brown, and then you say Uncle Matt, these names and stuff, and it's like,
why even say anything? Because everything I say, you're going to tell me that, oh, blah, 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 because you want it just like everyone else, want it to be me. So that way,
I don't care if
that
it's you
way
or not.
y'all can just go ahead and be the hero and all these things.
I do not get paid one extra dime if it's you. I don't get
Not
paid. I don't
me.
get paid anything else to find Ganon.
Sir,
It's just
not
our
me.
phone.
Not me. I'm not the one. Okay? I am not the one. Not the one.
I do want to help, and whether you did this or not, it doesn't matter to me. You know, if I can't prove a story, whether you tell it to me, Al tells it to me, whether it's El Paso Sheriff's Office, again, I don't take anything as true until I can prove it.
Sir, I'm not taking any chance.
How are you not taking
Because
a chance?
I know the man upstairs knows I did not do anything to Ganon.
Well, he's not going to be on the jury.
Oh, okay. All right, we're not going to go there with that.
You believe in that higher power you
Oh,
said?
I do. That's why. You
What
want to
about
know
the
why?
truth? Do
You want
you
to know
study the
why?
truth?
You want to know why I'm not sitting here like going crazy, freaking out, putting on an emotional show like I've seen people involved in this situation put on fake cries and all that? Because I know, God knows, that I did not do anything to Ganon.
Okay. Tell me the very last time you laid eyes on him. Where was he? Was he laying down? Was he standing up? Was he sitting? Was he walking to a car? Where was? Give me your very last image of Ganon. That's an easy question. You have to remember your last image of Ganon. Leticia. What was he doing? You know the last time you saw him. What would that hurt to tell me?
Leticia, barely responsive, essentially shuts down for the rest of the interview. Following her conversation with the police, she faces extradition to Colorado for trial. However, her journey is far from uneventful. Making national headlines, Leticia grabs attention by breaking free from her handcuffs and assaulting the officer tasked with relocating her. Surprisingly, her weapon of choice turns out to be an unopened can of Monster Energy drink.
Stop. She keeps threatening me. Stop. She keeps on threatening me.
In Kansas, the traveling party made a stop, and Leticia found herself spending several hours in the Salina, Kansas jail, while her escort received medical attention. Upon their return to Colorado on March 5th, Al promptly filed for divorce. Meanwhile, Leticia pleaded not guilty while awaiting her court proceedings. However, an intriguing turn of events unfolded near Pace, Florida, one of the stops during her road trip with Harley a month earlier. Near the Escambia River, the fourth largest river in Florida, the Escambia River Bridge was due for inspection on March 17, 2020. During the inspection, 2 Florida Department of Transportation inspectors stumbled upon an abandoned suitcase. Their curiosity led them to open it, revealing the grim discovery of Ganon Stokes' remains. An autopsy unveiled a tragic fate for Ganon, as he had been shot in the jaw, stabbed in the chest and back, and suffered a skull fracture. Defensive wounds covered his arms and legs, with the investigation linking a bullet lodged in his skull back to the 9mm gun found in the Stout residence, the one with Leticia's DNA. As Leticia continued to await trial, signs of mental instability surfaced, including paranoia and hallucinations. Despite her history of severe childhood abuse, which could potentially impact her behavior, a mental health evaluation deemed her fit to stand trial in February 2022. Facing these challenges, Leticia and her legal team opted to change her plea to not guilty by reason of insanity, pending the judge's approval.
Leticia Stout, the woman accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Ganon Stout, is now pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Stout will receive a mental evaluation. The defense also filed a motion to waive a jury trial, which is ultimately Stout's decision, and the judge reminded her without a jury, he gets the final say whether Stout is found guilty or not.
Allowing the change without awaiting the results of a sanity evaluation, the judge's decision raised eyebrows. Despite a prior mental health evaluation affirming Leticia's fitness for trial, court proceedings were further complicated by delays during the COVID-19 pandemic. Eventually, the trial was scheduled to commence 3 years later in April 2023. The state entered the legal battle armed with over 1,000 pages of discovery, 36 witnesses, and an abundance of video footage, phone calls, and other compelling evidence. Leticia's defense team faced a formidable challenge. The objectives were clear for both sides. The defense sought to persuade the jury that Leticia was insane during the commission of the crimes, while the state aimed to convince the jury that she was cognizant of right and wrong, in sound mind when Ganon was murdered. After a 21-day trial, the jury deliberated, reaching their verdict on May 8, 2023.
All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. May all be seated. With respect to count number 1, charge of murder in the first degree after deliberation, we, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. With respect to count number 2, charge of murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, we, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. With respect to count number 3, charge of tampering with a deceased human body, we, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. With respect to count number 4, charge of tampering with physical evidence, we, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence.
In a decisive ruling, Judge Gregory Werner handed down a life sentence without the possibility of parole to Leticia Stout. Additional charges of tampering with evidence and tampering with a dead body resulted in an extra 13.5 years. Initially confined at the Denver Women's Correctional Facility until August 2023, Leticia now resides in an undisclosed Kansas prison facility.
A parent's worst nightmare is getting a phone call letting them know that something has happened to their child. How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future. Neither Mr. Stout nor Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the pain of that first love, or get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son may have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it. I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders. I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way, and when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened. Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Ganon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Leticia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible. I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law.